Fantastic! Hello there! Master Hellish here and welcome back to my Redstone tutorial series. Today we're going to be continuing on with outputs, but first of all, let's look at the answer to the teaser from last time. This is it here, this is the teaser, and you have to turn on this lamp with this switch by placing items in these 3 dispensers. And a lot of this is stuff we've already talked about. So you should know that when you use a lever on a dispenser, it is powered. You should know that when an arrow hits a button, it is activated. You should know that when a dispenser with a water bucket in it is activated, the water will spill out. Water will spill out over this redstone dust and break the connection. And you should know that when a dispenser with any random item in it is powered, it will eject that item. And you should know that a wooden pressure plate, when an item is placed upon it, will emit power. So, putting all of that together, we can fire our arrow at the button to activate the water and drop the item onto the pressure plate to light the lamp. And that is the answer to the teaser. So on with the rest of today's episode, and today we've got a big one. We've got a lot of information for you because we're looking at these things. We are looking at pistons. Now pistons are a big one. Lots of things to tell you about pistons, so let's fly through it. This is a piston in an item frame. This is how you craft one. We got wood at the top, any wood. We've got cobblestone on each side, iron in the middle, and redstone at the bottom there. Let's just quickly grab some of those items and craft one. So cobblestone down the sides, wood across the top, iron in the middle, and redstone in the bottom gives us a piston. And our piston can be placed on the floor just by clicking. And we're looking at placing pistons a little bit more in a moment. But pistons are special. You can see that this piston here is currently occupying the space of 1 block. Okay, it's got its stone section and the wooden section all in that 1 block, as you would expect. However, when we power it, the piston extends and now occupies the space of 2 blocks. You can see it lines up perfectly with these 2 wooden blocks at the back. When it is no longer powered, it retracts and goes back into a 1 block space. There are certain situations which the piston cannot extend. That's one of them, and we'll look at them a little bit more in a moment. But the piston can be placed in multiple different ways. You can see a piston here pointing upwards, a piston here pointing downwards. In fact, you can place pistons in all of the 6 directions. So you can go it this way, you can do it that way, and you can do it this way, and you can even do it that way. You can even stand up here and put one that way. And you can see that these have been facing the way that I'm putting. So you place a piston down, the wooden face always faces you. So you place it that way, the wooden face always faces you. To do the one going down is a little bit more difficult. You have to get beneath what you want to do and then put it in. So there we go. You have to very often push it up against another block. But there we go. There we are in all 6 of the orientations. So they can extend, but what else can they do? Well, when you extend a piston, it pushes entities. So if we place, I don't know, an iron bar in front of this piston and press the power, the piston has moved the iron bar into this square here. And if we retract it, there you can see that it is now further out from where it was. So it was somewhere over here, and when we extend it, it pushes it over there. Of course, mobs and players are entities too, so I can stand in front of this piston right in this square here, right next to this green block, and if I press it, I get moved to one side. I get moved onto this section here. So, pistons push entities. They also push blocks. So here we have a block of wool. If we extend it out, you can see the block of wool has been pushed forward. However, there is a limitation to this. Here we have a stack of blocks of wool, and it does push that. In fact, it can push up to 12 blocks in a row. So here we should have 12 blocks. There we are. Piston is able to extend out that far and push them all along. However, here we have 13 blocks, and it cannot push 13 blocks. You can see, look, will not go. However, if I take one of the blocks out from the end, there we go, we now have 12 blocks, and it will push out. There's other things that it cannot push. For example, it cannot push obsidian blocks. Yeah, cannot push them at all. It cannot push, what's this? A furnace. Cannot push furnaces. In fact, it can't push furnaces, anvils, ringed, what were the end portals, chests. It can't push beacons, dispensers. Any of these objects you see in this tower here, it can't push, including the jukebox at the top there. So it can't push that. So all block entities, plus anvils, barriers, and bedrock. So we've got bedrock here. It can't push that either. So there, it cannot push any of them. Some things are dropped when they are pushed. So entities got pushed, as you saw then. Blocks gets pushed, but if you have a bed, for example, that will drop. A pumpkin, pressure plate, redstone, sugarcane, or torches, anything like that. When you flip the lever, you can see that they all got dropped. So we have our bed, we have our jack-o'-lantern, we have our pressure plate, we got the redstone dust, lots of sugarcane that dropped on the floor, and our torch all dropped when a piston pushes it. And you can use this for farming. It's quite useful. More information about pushing them. You can push track. We'll look more at track later on in the series. But for now, you can get track in Minecraft. If I flick this lever, you can see that it's pushed the track to a different position. It pushed it along one block, and if we pull it back, you can see that the track is now here. However, if you push the track over an air block, so that there's a hole there, it will drop. Yeah, like that. And there is also something called the bud switch. One block up and one to the side. So if all these down here, we've been powering our pistons either by the side or on top, or all around the back. But if you power it diagonally, it creates a bud switch. Okay, so if we power this piston, nothing happens. The piston doesn't realise it's powered. But if we do something to cause an update in the game, for example, placing a block next to it, it will extend. Now, we haven't actually changed the power going into that block. All we did was place this stone next to it. And the same things again. So if we depower the piston, it doesn't realise and it doesn't retract. And we can update it by doing something nearby. Placing a block, for example. There's other things you can do as well. Let me think. Flint and steel. There we go. If we update it, we can update it with fire from flint and steel. There you are. And again. So there is different ways. Now, this can be very useful, and we're going to look more into buds later on in the series. We're going to have a special episode for them. They can get rather complicated, but for now, I just wanted to make you aware that they exist. And we are going to hop all the way back down to the beginning, because now we have this. We've looked at the piston, now we have the sticky piston. The sticky piston is made by taking a piston and putting a slime ball on the top. Okay, and you get this kind of green mottled effect over the top. You can see how it's different to the regular piston. And apart from that, it looks exactly the same as a regular piston. It's just got that sticky green goo on it. What does that mean? Well, it extends just like a normal piston. You can see that extends out like that. I don't know why I did two of them. No idea at all. I suppose if I stood in front of this, it extends out and it extends back just like a normal piston. So far, just like a normal piston. However, let's just put an entity in front of it as well. If we put some entities in front of it, you can see it pushes it out just like a normal piston. However, if we have a block in front and we extend it out, when we bring it back again, it pulls the block, and that's the difference in the sticky. Now it only pulls the block it's attached to, so if we push out a multiple number of blocks, they all get pushed out, but only the nearest block gets pulled back. And you can see here that a sticky piston is limited in the same way as a normal piston. So here we have 13 pieces of wool. It will not go. If I take out the end piece once again, not the ground, there we go, you will see that it will now extend. Hang on, there we go. It will extend and it will pull the last one back. And the same limitation again, beacons and all the other objects I mentioned earlier cannot be pushed by sticky pistons. Sticky pistons can also act like buds as well, not just normal pistons. So what else have we got to show you? Well, this is a slime block, and when they introduced this a couple of versions back, it changed a lot of things about the way we can use pistons. You use slime balls to make a slime block. It's quite simple to do. Let's just go quickly do that. So if we get some slime balls, there we go. It is stupidly easy. In a crafting table, you just fill up a crafting table with 9 slime balls and you get a slime block. But what can you do with them? Ho ho ho. Well, this is what they look like. This is a slime block here. When you fall on it, you may have noticed then, you bounce on it, which is pretty cool. If I fall from a greater height, you bounce from it. You don't take damage. Okay, and that's the same if you've got a number of them all together. However, if you want to stop bouncing, you can press shift, and that does stop you from bouncing. If you're in survival, you will then take damage. So, how does it work with a sticky? How does this slime block work with a sticky piston? Well, if you activate a sticky piston with a slime block on it, when it comes back again, it will. Well, with a normal piston, it will stay there, just like it would with any block. So, if we had, I don't know, if we had sandstone in front of it, it would push it out, pull it back, and it would stay there. The same thing happens with the slime block. Okay. But with the sticky piston, it gets pushed out and it goes back again. But that is also the same as any other block. So for example, this sandstone gets pushed out, goes back again. So far, no change. However, this is where it gets different. Okay, if you push out a slime block with a sticky piston, it all goes out. But when you retract it, the slime block itself transfers the pulling power of the sticky piston back with it. So watch this. Okay, so not only did the block directly in front of the sticky piston come back, the slime block, but it also pulled the extra piece of wool with it. Okay, and that is not limited to one piece of wool, and it's not limited to directly in front of it. Here we have a slime block directly in front of a sticky piston, and we've got 3 pieces of wool sticking out in various different directions. Now, if I flick the lever, it all goes out, including this one on the side. This piston is not directly pushing through that block, but the slime block is taking it with it. And if we flick it back, it all comes back. Anything connected to the slime block moves. And you can do various different shapes. So here we have a different shape of configuration. We've got 3 wool and 3 slime blocks, all going out together and all coming back together. Okay, we've got another configuration here going upwards. I have no idea why, just to show you the different ways of doing it. Now here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this is 12. So this follows the same limitation of being able to push 12 blocks. So if I do that, all 12 blocks go out, and if I do that, all 12 blocks go back again. If I put 1 on the end here, it will not go out. Coincidentally, okay, if you're able to push 12 blocks out and your sticky piston picks up any other blocks, okay, like this, so now I push 12 out, this 13th block is now attached to this slime block. When you go back again, you will lose it. It will disconnect from the sticky piston. And the reason why all these pistons are up in the air and those ones were down on the ground is the slime block itself can attach to the floor. Okay, Okay, so if I was to put a slime block right in front of the piston here, it's counting as touching this floor one, which is all in front of the world. You cannot shift the world with a sticky piston. Okay, it's over 12 blocks. It's over 12 blocks. Something similar here. Okay, this is to show you that most blocks that can be, in fact, all blocks that can be pushed with a piston will stick to the slime block. And all the blocks that can't be pushed by a piston, these ones up here, for example, the furnace, will ignore a slime block. So when I push this out, okay, this block here will move out, this block here will move out, but so will the wool. Watch. Oh, hang on. There we are. So this wool moved along with this line, but the furnace did not. The furnace stayed exactly where it was. And there we go. That is all about the sticky pistons and the slime blocks and regular pistons and the way they work. Bit of a longer episode today because we've got to fit in all those different things. But remember, normal pistons are pretty cool for moving things around. Sticky pistons will pull one thing back with them. And the slime blocks add extra functionality for pulling things backwards and forwards, but still are limited to that 12 block limitation of any of the pistons. So, we started with a teaser answer. Here is a teaser question. Now, using all of these mechanical items here, okay, hang on a minute, what's going on? Yeah, you've got to get this glowstone block here from this red square to this green square here by activating the pistons, okay? All you've got to do is press these buttons in the right order and you will be able to get this glowstone dust block all the way over to this green block here. And that is your challenge. Now remember, the download for this world, so you can play with any of the things behind me, or have a go at the teaser, is in the link in the description. So download the world, give it a go, and I will see you next time. Any thoughts, ideas, or questions down in the comments below. And for now, that's all from me. Goodbye.